Good morning and welcome to Breakfast with Bernie, brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Hey, it's good to be back after an unexpected and unwanted absence. I've been away for the last couple of weeks tending to a very personal matter. As many of you have heard, my mother, Betty Lee, died on the 1st of June at the age of 78. And though she had been battling some challenging health problems in recent years, her death was sudden and unexpected. If you don't mind, I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about her this morning. First of all, I wanted to thank all of you who offered your soothing words of support and condolence during this difficult time. Your kindness was sweet, it was touching, it was timely, and much appreciated. I will never forget it. Again, thank you. Now, I can't even try to pretend that this is something that I can get over easily. It was very hard, and those of you who have lost their mom or dad or both parents know exactly what I'm talking about. I owe my life to my mom, and on top of that, everything that I have that is good in my life is because of her. As Abraham Lincoln once wrote, "All that I am or ever hope to be, I owe to my angel mother." That describes my mother as well. Betty Lee had a profound influence on me. You can see traces of her in everything that I write, good and bad. I tend to be moody. That's her. I'm independent. I will not subscribe to any groupthink. That's her. I'm sassy, at times too quick to engage and deliver a caustic jab. That's her. I can get emotional, sappy, overheated. That's her. I can't stand it when I see people unfairly gang up on a target, whether it be a wealthy athlete or a so-called average person. That's her too, because my mom taught me to avoid the pack, be my own man, stand up for what's right, and think for myself, and I cling to that today. Looking back, I think I was destined to be a sports writer. I was born in a hospital in Baltimore across the street from the St. Mary's Industrial School. That's the place where the young and wayward Babe Ruth learned how to play baseball. Less than 2 months before my birth, the Colts played the New York Giants in the NFL championship game, December 28, 1958 at Yankee Stadium. My father was there at the game, accompanied by both of my grandfathers. They witnessed the Colts' epic overtime win in what is now known as the greatest game ever played. Meanwhile, my mom was back home in Baltimore watching the game on TV, and she insists that she could feel me kicking inside her the entire time. Apparently, her unborn boy was caught up in the drama of the afternoon, and she said so many times to me, "That boy I knew was either going to be a football player or a sports writer." Well, as we all know, mother knows best, right? Betty Lee always knew what was best for me. Hey, I think I broke her heart in 1985 when I left Maryland to make St. Louis my new home. But she never once made me feel guilty for that. She never held it against me. She was always supportive. She wanted me to live my life and do well in my career. And she always made it clear that she was proud of me, and that made me feel great. My mom did not have an easy life. She was married for 47 years to my father, Bernie Sr., until his death in 2003. My father had epilepsy, and it was a terrible ordeal at times. Their married life was filled with scary seizures, emergency trips to the hospital, multiple close calls that nearly resulted in his death. My mother never wavered, never complained, never thought about bailing on the marriage. She did all that she could, and then some, to give my father unconditional love and care. Like most families, we had our share of problems, and my mother sacrificed a lot to basically raise 4 of her 5 grandchildren. She gave those 4 kids a stable home and a chance to have a normal life when they desperately needed it. She paid a price for it. The last 15 or 20 years of her life were filled with stress and turmoil and worry. She didn't have time to go on exotic vacations, could not pamper herself, never had the chance to relax and be selfish and dote upon herself. Instead, she dedicated her life to giving those 4 kids a good home. I love this extraordinary woman in more ways than I can cite today. It's really hard normally to determine a person's legacy, but it's easy in my mom's case. She gave and she gave and she gave. She made sacrifices so that others could lead a better life. Now, I don't know if this is the life that Betty Lee had planned for herself. It probably wasn't. But this was the life that she accepted and embraced. She made the best of her life by doing more than others than she did for herself. I take comfort now in knowing that she's reunited with my father and they are happy together again. She is no longer debilitated, no longer weak, no longer in pain. Her beauty and vitality are restored, and to me, this is a glorious example of God's tender mercy. In the words of the Russian poet Chekhov, we shall find peace, we shall hear angels, we shall see the sky sparkling with diamonds. That's my mom up there sparkling. Sparkling. I love you, Mom. Hey, thanks to our sponsor, Papa John's. We'll see you tomorrow morning on STLtoday.com.